A billionaire was about to drink his morning coffee when a homeless girl ran out of nowhere and snatched it from his hand. He was furious. But then she poured it on the ground and whispered, "This drink was meant to end your life." Who sent her? How did she know? Before we uncover the shocking truth, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. Odogwu was a man many people respected. He was rich, powerful, and kind. In the city, people called him a helper of the poor. At the orphanage, children ran to him with joy. In his company, workers prayed for him. But inside his beautiful mansion, Odogwu carried a silent pain. He had no child. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of hope, 3 years of waiting. That morning, he and his wife Amanda sat in the doctor's office. Odogwu leaned forward, worry written all over his face. "Doctor," he said softly, "my wife and I have been married for almost 3 years. We want to know if there is any medical problem. Please, tell us the truth." The doctor adjusted his glasses and cleared his throat. "From the tests we conducted," he began, "there is nothing wrong with both of you. You are medically fine." Odogwu's eyes widened a little. "So, what is the problem?" "You only need to wait for God's time," the doctor replied. Amanda's face tightened immediately. "God's time?" she said sharply. "Doctor, it has been 3 years. How long are we supposed to wait?" "I understand your frustration, madam," the doctor answered carefully. "But as far as medicine is concerned, there is no problem." Odogwu held Amanda's hand. "It's okay," he whispered. "We will keep believing." But Amanda forced a smile. Inside her, fear was growing. Because earlier that same day, before Odogwu arrived, she had met the doctor privately. She had placed a huge envelope of money on his table. "Please," she begged him, "tell my husband that nothing is wrong with me. If he finds out the truth, my marriage is finished." Years ago, Amanda had almost died during a terrible abortion. To save her life, the doctors had removed her womb. She could never carry a child. The doctor had agreed to lie, and now Odogwu believed him. That night, Amanda could not sleep. She turned on the bed again and again. What if he finds out someday? What if someone tells him? What if he leaves me? Fear pushed her heart like fire. Then suddenly, an idea came. A dangerous idea. Amanda sat up slowly. "If I don't act fast," she whispered to herself, "I will lose everything." 3 weeks passed after their hospital visit. Life returned to normal, but the question of a child still lived quietly in Odogwu's heart. He tried not to pressure Amanda. He kept telling himself, "God's time is the best." Amanda, however, felt the opposite. Every day that passed felt like a ticking clock. Fear reminded her that lies never sleep forever. That morning, Odogwu was having breakfast. He was already dressed for work, checking his phone and preparing for the day. Suddenly, Amanda ran out of the bedroom. "Honey," she shouted with excitement, "guess what?" Odogwu laughed. "You know I'm not good at guessing. Tell me." She slowly brought out the pregnancy test kit she had been hiding behind her back. It showed positive. "I'm pregnant," she said. "You're going to be a father." For a moment, Odogwu could not breathe. "Are you serious?" he asked. Tears filled his eyes. He stood up and hugged her tightly. "I'm going to be a father," he repeated. "This is the best news of my life." He kissed her forehead. "We are celebrating tonight. From today, you will not stress yourself again. I will take care of everything." Amanda smiled, but her heart was beating fast. Because she was not pregnant, she had only bought time. As Odogu drove to work, he felt like the luckiest man alive. He imagined carrying his baby, teaching the child to walk, hearing tiny footsteps in his house. When he entered his office, his secretary noticed the happiness on his face. "Sir," she said, smiling, "there is good news. Your company just won the contract for the Lagos to Calabar coastal road." Odogu raised his hands to heaven. "Double blessing!" he shouted. He did not know that while he was celebrating, the foundation of his happiness was built on a lie. The news of the pregnancy changed everything in the mansion. Odogu moved like a man walking on clouds. He smiled at everyone. He gave bigger tips to the workers. He even started coming home earlier than usual. Sometimes he would place his hand on Amanda's stomach and whisper softly, "My child, Daddy is waiting for you." Amanda would smile warmly whenever he did that. But the moment he turned away, the smile disappeared, because inside her there was no child, only fear. Fear that grew bigger each passing day. Every morning, she woke up with one thought burning in her mind. What if the truth comes out? She watched her husband carefully now. She wondered how he would look at her if he ever discovered she had lied. Would he hate her? Would he send her away? Would everything she enjoyed disappear? The fear refused to leave. Then one morning, something happened that made her heart nearly stop. The gate opened. Amanda looked through the window and saw a young woman stepping into the compound with travel bags. Amanda frowned. "Who is that?" Before she could ask the guards, her phone rang. It was Odogu. "Oh, honey," he said quickly, "I forgot to mention, Chidera is coming to stay for 2 weeks. She should be arriving this morning. Please make her comfortable for me." Amanda felt her throat tighten. "Your sister?" she asked. "Yes," he replied happily. "She's on holiday. I want her to spend time with us." Amanda swallowed. "All right," she said quietly. The call ended, but her heart did not calm down. Why didn't he tell me earlier? Why now, when I'm trying to protect my secret? Of all people, Chidera was someone Amanda did not want near her. She was quiet. She paid attention. And people who paid attention could discover things. Chidera entered the house with respect. "Good morning, sister-in-law," she greeted politely. Amanda forced a dry smile. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I came to see my brother," Chidera replied. "School is on break." "You should have told me before coming," Amanda said coldly. "I told my brother," Chidera answered, confused. Amanda turned and walked away without another word. Chidera stood there for a moment, embarrassed. Then she carried her bags to the guest room quietly. Already, she felt like a stranger. From that moment, Amanda knew peace had left the house. Trouble had arrived. If Chidera stayed long enough, she might begin to notice things. And once she noticed, the lie could fall apart. That night, Amanda shook Odogu awake. "Honey," she whispered, forcing tears into her voice, "I am not comfortable with your sister around me. I am pregnant. I don't want stress." Odogu opened his eyes slowly. "She will only stay for 2 weeks," he said. "Please try to live in peace." Amanda lay back down, but inside her, something dark was forming. If peace would not remove Chidera, then something else would. The following days became a test. Amanda looked for reasons to be angry, but Chidera remained gentle. One morning, Chidera sat in the living room watching television. Amanda walked in and switched it off immediately. "Have you washed the plates in the kitchen?" she demanded. "Or should I, a pregnant woman, do all the work?" Chidera stood up at once. "I'm sorry. I will wash them now." No argument, no insult. Amanda felt frustrated. How do you destroy someone who refuses to fight back? That afternoon, Amanda sat alone, thinking deeply. The longer Chidera stayed, the greater the danger. Sooner or later, she might see through the act. Amanda's face grew hard. If she could not find trouble, she would create it. And when she did, Chidera would not survive it. In the living room, Chidera was arranging some clothes neatly. She was trying her best to be helpful. Even though Amanda treated her with coldness, she still respected her. When she saw Amanda pass, she greeted politely. "Good afternoon, sister-in-law." Amanda heard her, but she acted like she did not. She walked past without replying. Chidera slowly dropped her eyes. She felt unwanted, but she chose peace. "Let me endure," she thought. "I will soon go back to school." Amanda watched her from a distance. Her calmness annoyed her. Why couldn't the girl just misbehave? Why couldn't she give her one mistake she could use? Amanda needed a reason, but Chidera was not giving her any. By afternoon, Chidera was tired. She had cleaned the house, washed the dishes, and helped in the kitchen. She went to her room to rest and soon fell asleep. Amanda had been waiting for this moment. She quietly carried a bucket of water. She stood beside the bed and looked at Chidera. For a brief second, something like pity tried to enter her heart. But fear quickly pushed it away. She poured the water. Chidera jumped up, confused and frightened. "What happened?" she asked. Amanda exploded immediately. "So this is what you are doing?" she shouted. "Sleeping while work is waiting." "But I finished everything," Chidera replied. "I swear." "Are you calling me a liar?" Amanda screamed. "No, I'm not." Amanda stepped forward and slapped her hard. The sound echoed in the room. Chidera held her cheek, shocked. "Why are you treating me like this?" she asked, tears forming in her eyes. "What did I ever do to you?" Amanda's face twisted with anger. "You think I don't see what you're doing?" she yelled. "You want to create problems for me." "I have never wished you bad," Chidera cried. Amanda pushed her shoulder. Instinctively, Chidera pushed back. It was light, harmless, but Amanda was ready. She threw herself to the ground. She screamed loudly, "My baby! My baby!" Then she pressed a small nylon she had hidden inside her clothes. Red liquid began to spread. Chidera's body went cold. "No, this is not true," she whispered. "You are pretending." But Amanda continued crying in pain. "You pushed me. You killed my child." She quickly called Odogwu. Her voice broke as she spoke. "Your sister pushed me," she sobbed. "I'm bleeding. I've lost the baby." Odogwu arrived like a storm. When he saw Amanda on the floor, he felt his heart tear apart. He turned to Chidera. His face was filled with anger. "What have you done?" he shouted. Chidera rushed to him. "Brother, please listen. She planned this." "Enough!" he roared. "What right did you have to touch my wife?" "It was a gentle push," she cried. "She is lying." But Odogwu was not ready to hear. Pain had taken control. "Pack your things," he said, his voice cold. "You must leave now." Chidera dropped to her knees. "Please believe me," she begged. "I would never harm her." But the decision had been made. Later, she walked out of the compound alone, her heart heavy, her eyes full of tears. No one stopped her. The house became very quiet after Chidera left. Too quiet. The silence entered Odogwu's heart and sat there like a heavy stone. He stayed beside Amanda, watching her lie on the bed. She looked tired. She looked weak. At least that was what he believed. "I'm sorry," he said, holding her hand. "I should have protected you." Amanda turned her face away like someone in pain. "It's not your fault," she replied softly. "I just wish all this never happened." Odogu closed his eyes. A child he had already started loving was gone. Nothing hurt more. As the evening came, Amanda kept reminding him of the incident. "If only your sister had been careful," she said sadly, "maybe our baby would still be alive." Each word landed like a hammer. Odogu felt anger. He felt loss. He felt confusion. He needed space. "I want to step out for a while," he said. "Honey, where are you going?" Amanda asked. "I just need air," he replied. He took his car keys and left. The road was calm, but his mind was not. Images kept playing in his head. The fall, the blood, the crying. He felt like a man who had failed his own family. He did not want to go back home yet, so he drove into the night and stopped at Beverly's bar. Inside, music was playing. People were laughing. Waiters moved from table to table. Life was normal there, but Odogu was not normal. He sat at the counter. "Give me something strong," he said. The drink burned his throat, but he welcomed the pain. One glass became two became three. Slowly, his head became light. Across the room, another person was also trying to forget her worries. Her name was Olua. She had come alone, hoping the music and the crowd would quiet her thoughts. But then she noticed the man beside her. He looked troubled, lost. She hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "Are you okay?" she asked. Odogu looked at her. "I don't know," he answered honestly. They began to talk. About stress, about disappointment, about how life sometimes breaks people. For a moment, Odogu felt relief. Someone was listening without judging. But the alcohol had gone too far. When he stood up to leave, the ground seemed to move. He staggered. He almost fell. Olua quickly held him. "You can't drive like this," she said. "Let me help you." Odogu was too tired to argue. He allowed her. That night, he slept in her house. Loneliness mixed with alcohol. Weakness defeated discipline. And the line he should never cross, he crossed. Morning came with sharp light. Odogu opened his eyes. The room was unfamiliar. He sat up immediately. His phone was on the table. 20 missed calls. Amanda. His heart began to race. "How did I get here?" he asked. "You were drunk," Olua replied calmly. "I didn't want you driving." Then Odogu noticed something. He looked at himself. Fear entered his chest. "Did we do anything?" he asked slowly. Olua did not lie. "Yes," she answered. Odogu stood up quickly. Guilt washed over him. What had he done? He dressed in silence. "I have to go," he said. Driving home, he could hardly breathe. How would he look at his wife? How would he hide this mistake? Amanda was waiting when he arrived. Her eyes were sharp. "Where were you?" she asked. "I called you all night." Odogu avoided her gaze. "I slept at the office," he lied. "I was troubled." Amanda kept looking at him. "I hope you are telling me the truth," she said. He nodded, but inside him, something had already begun, because he did not know. That night had planted a seed that would soon grow and change everything. Amanda did not know it, but her actions had already pushed her husband into another woman's arms, and that night of weakness had planted a living seed. A child was coming. Odogu tried to return to his normal life. He buried the guilt inside him and focused on work. But something strange began to happen. Everywhere he went, children filled his thoughts. their laughter, their cries, their tiny hands. It was as if heaven was whispering something he could not understand yet. On the first day of the month, Odogwu followed a ritual he had kept for years. He visited the orphanage. He never missed it. Food items were unloaded from his vehicles: rice, beans, milk, clothes. The children gathered around him happily. Some held his legs, some hugged him. Their joy always gave him peace. The matron smiled. "Sir, may one of the children pray for you?" she asked. Odogwu nodded. A small girl stepped forward. She closed her eyes and raised her tiny hands. "Father Lord," she prayed, "bless Uncle Odogwu. Let him hear the cry of babies in his house. Give him children that will fill his home with joy." "Amen!" everyone shouted. Odogwu smiled, but something moved inside his chest. Why did those words sound different today? He waved goodbye and left the orphanage. On his way back, he stopped at the local market to buy fruits. As he stepped out of his car, he saw a poor girl sitting by the roadside with a plate in front of her. She looked tired, hungry. Without thinking twice, Odogwu dropped some money into her plate. "God bless you," he said kindly. Their eyes met. The girl stared at him in a strange way, like someone who could see what others could not. Then she spoke. "The Lord has heard your prayers," she said slowly. "You are going to be a father." Odogwu's body became still. A father? How could a stranger know the deepest desire of his heart? Before he could ask another question, the girl had already turned away. Confused, he returned to his office. He tried to concentrate on documents, but his mind refused. The girl's words kept echoing. "Your secret prayers." Then his phone rang. An unfamiliar number. He answered. "Hello, who is this?" "Mr. Odogwu," the voice said gently. "It's Oluwa, from that night." His heart skipped. "Yes," he replied slowly. "I'm pregnant," she said. Silence. Odogwu could hear his own heartbeat. "Pregnant?" he repeated. "Yes," she said again. "How did you get my number?" he asked, confused. "We exchanged it that night," she replied. Memory returned like thunder. Then the beggar's voice returned too. "The Lord has heard your prayers." "Are you sure?" Odogwu asked. "Yes," she answered, "but if you don't want it, I understand. I can terminate it." "No!" Odogwu shouted immediately. The idea cut him deeply. "No, please don't do that." There was a long silence between them. "How can I see you?" he finally asked. "I'll be at home this evening," she replied. "Number 5, Orange Drive, Festac." That evening, Odogwu drove there. His hands were shaking. When he entered, he looked at her carefully. "Are you truly pregnant?" he asked. "Yes." "How are you sure the child is mine?" "I have not been with any man for over a year," she answered calmly. "I am certain." Odogwu sat down slowly. For a long time, he had secretly feared something. What if he could never father a child? But now, here was life, real, growing. "Please," he begged her, "don't terminate this baby." Oluwa looked at him. "There is something you must know," she said. "In my family, it is a taboo to have a child outside marriage. If I give birth without a husband, my family will take the child. You may never have rights over him." Odogwu felt trapped. "So what are you saying?" he asked. "You must marry me," she said quietly. Odogwu leaned back. His head was spinning. A wife at home, a child on the way, and a choice that could destroy everything. He had prayed for a miracle. Now the miracle had arrived, but it came with fire. Odogwu did not sleep that night. Oluwa's words kept walking around inside his head. You must marry me. He loved Amanda, but he also wanted the child. For years he had prayed for this moment. Now heaven had answered. But the answer came in a way he never expected. After many days of thinking, fear, and secret meetings, Odogu made a decision. He married Oluwa quietly. No celebration, no announcement, only a few witnesses. He promised himself something. I will take care of her. I will protect my child. Odogu rented a comfortable house for Oluwa. He hired a maid to help her. He made sure she lacked nothing. Hospital visits, good food, medicines. Every time he visited, he would place his hand on her stomach with wonder. Inside was the future he had begged God for. Sometimes he still could not believe it. Months passed quickly. Then one afternoon, his phone rang. "Sir," the maid said breathlessly, "Madam is in labor." Odogu did not even remember how he reached the hospital. He drove fast, praying under his breath. God, please let them be safe. At the hospital, he walked up and down the corridor. Every minute felt like an hour. Sweat covered his forehead. His hands refused to stay still. Then finally, the door opened. A nurse came out smiling. "Congratulations, sir," she said. Odogu stopped breathing. "Your wife delivered safely. She had triplets." Odogu stared at her. "Triplets?" he whispered. "Yes," she said warmly. "2 boys and 1 girl." His legs almost failed him. Tears rushed into his eyes. 3 children at once. He covered his mouth and began to cry. For the first time in many years, Odogu felt complete. When he entered the ward and saw them, his heart melted. They were tiny, peaceful, perfect. He touched their fingers carefully. "My children," he whispered. But Odogu wanted certainty. He wanted to remove every possible doubt. So he requested a DNA test immediately. He had to be sure. Not because he distrusted Oluwa, but because peace of mind was important. When the result came, it was clear. The children were his. No argument, no mistake. Odogu laughed loudly. He raised his hands toward the sky. "Thank you, Lord," he said. Now he was truly a father. Yet, behind the joy stood a mountain. Amanda. She did not know, and she would not accept it easily. But what choice did he have? These were his children. He must be part of their lives. A few days later, Odogu returned home. His face was serious. He asked Amanda to sit. "There is something I must tell you," he began. Amanda looked curious. "What is it?" she asked. "Did you buy me something?" Odogu swallowed. "I got another woman pregnant," Odogu said slowly. "She has given birth." Amanda felt the room spin. "That night, the night you lost the pregnancy," he continued, "I was not myself. I left the house heavy and confused," he said. "I went to a bar and drank more than I should have." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "In my weakness, I crossed a line I should never have crossed." Amanda's heart pounded. "And that mistake," he continued, "led to a pregnancy." Silence filled the room. Amanda's breathing changed because she remembered that night. She remembered pushing him emotionally. She remembered how she kept blaming Chidera. If she had not done all that, would he have gone out? "She became pregnant," Odogu said. "She has given birth to triplets, 2 boys and a girl." Amanda closed her eyes. 3, while she had lied. "I want to bring them home," Odogu added. "They are my children. I must take responsibility." Amanda's eyes opened slowly. Pain mixed with rage. "So my pain drove you into another woman's bed," she said. But deep down, another truth whispered. "You started this." "You want to bring her into my house?" Amanda shouted. "After everything? Over my dead body." Odogu tried to speak again, but Amanda was no longer listening. Inside her, war had begun. Yes, maybe she helped create the problem, but she refused to suffer the outcome. That night, she sat alone in the dark, thinking. If fate wanted to punish her, she would fight fate itself, because love had left her heart, and something dangerous had taken its place. Amanda did not cry the next morning. She did not shout. She did not complain. Instead, she became quiet, very quiet. And when a wounded person becomes quiet, something dangerous is usually being born. All night she had asked herself one question. How do I stop this woman and her children from entering my life? She knew Odogu. Once he made up his mind, he rarely turned back. Begging would not work. Crying would not work. So she needed something stronger, something final. By afternoon, Amanda dressed up and drove to Odogu's office. If she could not fight him at home, she would fight him at work. Maybe she would disgrace him. Maybe she would threaten him. She did not even know yet, but she wanted action. When she entered his office, she stopped. Someone else was there. His secretary, Laura. And she was not alone. A man held her. They were kissing. Laura jumped back immediately when she saw Amanda. Her face lost color. Madam, I can explain," she stammered. The man quickly escaped like a thief. Amanda slowly brought out her phone. She took pictures, one after the other. Laura fell to her knees. "Please," she begged. "It was a mistake." Amanda's lips curved into a small smile. A door had just opened. "So you do this in my husband's office?" Amanda asked coldly. "It will never happen again," Laura cried. Amanda pretended to think. Then she reached into her handbag. She brought out a small white bottle. She placed it on the table. "I can forget what I saw," Amanda said quietly. Hope entered Laura's eyes. "Thank you, Ma," she cried. "But," Amanda continued, "you must do something for me." Laura froze. "Tomorrow morning," Amanda said, "when my husband asks for his coffee, put this inside it." Laura stared at the bottle. "What is it?" she asked, her voice shaking. Amanda's face became hard. "You don't need to know," she replied. "Just do it." Laura trembled. "Ma, I can't." Amanda raised her phone. The pictures were clear. If Odogu saw them, her job was gone. Her career finished. Maybe worse. "Do it," Amanda repeated, "and call me when it is done." Amanda walked out of the office feeling powerful. For the first time since she heard about the triplets, she felt in control. If Odogu wanted to destroy her world, she would end his. Inside the office, Laura remained on the floor. Her body shook. What had she just agreed to do? She looked at the small white bottle in her hand. Amanda had refused to explain what it was, but whatever it contained, it could not be good. Laura felt trapped. If she refused, Amanda would expose the photos. If she obeyed, something terrible might happen. Either way, she was in danger. That night, Laura could not sleep. She kept staring at the bottle. Her heart beat loudly in her chest. Morning was coming, and with it, a choice she might regret forever. Morning came too fast for Laura. She had not really slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Amanda's face, and the phone with those pictures, her job, her reputation, her future. Everything was hanging by a thread. The small white bottle sat on her table, quiet, but heavy, very heavy. At exactly 9 o'clock, Odogwu entered the office. He looked normal, calm. He greeted her as he always did. "Good morning, Laura." "Good morning, sir," she replied, forcing a smile. Her hands were already cold. Odogwu placed his briefcase down. "Please, my coffee," he said, just like every other day. But today was not normal. Laura walked toward the small kitchen. Her legs felt weak. She prepared the coffee slowly. Then she brought out the bottle. Her hands shook. She remembered Amanda's warning. "Do it." Laura closed her eyes and poured a little into the cup. "God forgive me," she whispered. She carried the tray into the office. "Sir, your coffee." Odogwu looked up. "Thank you." Their eyes met for a brief second. Laura quickly looked away. If he smiled at her again, she might confess everything. She walked out immediately. Once outside, she dialed Amanda. "Ma," she whispered, "I have done it." "Good," Amanda replied calmly. "Remember, silence." The call ended. Laura felt like she might faint. Inside, Odogwu picked up the cup. He blew gently on the hot drink. Just as it touched his lips, his phone rang. He checked the screen. It was from the coastal road construction site. Urgent. He stood up immediately, still holding the coffee. "I have to step out," he said, as he rushed past Laura. "Sir, is everything okay?" she asked nervously. "I'll be back," he replied. He walked toward the parking lot, the cup still in his hand. Then suddenly, someone grabbed it. Before Odogwu understood what was happening, a thin figure ran away with the coffee. Dirty clothes, bare feet, a homeless girl. "Hey!" Odogwu shouted. "Stop! If you are hungry, I will buy you food." But she kept running. Odogwu ran after her. People stopped to watch. Finally, she slowed down. He caught up with her, breathing hard. "You!" he said. Then he remembered. She was the girl from the market, the one he had given money, the one who said he would be a father. Without speaking, the girl poured the coffee onto the ground. The liquids spread across the sand. Gone. "That was my coffee!" Odogwu shouted. The girl looked straight into his eyes. There was no fear in her face, only certainty. Then she spoke. "This coffee was meant to end your life." Odogwu froze. His mouth went dry. "What are you saying?" he asked slowly. Around them, people had begun to gather. Even Laura from a distance was watching. Her heart nearly jumped out of her chest. "How do you know that?" Odogwu demanded. The girl held his gaze. "I know what I know," she replied. Odogwu looked at the liquid soaking into the ground. If she had not taken it, he would have drunk it. His mind began to race. Who would want him dead? Who had access to his drink? Who could betray him like this? He turned back to the girl. She was still standing there, waiting. And Odogwu realized something terrifying. Death had come very close to him. Very close. Comment part 2 if you want the continuation of this story.